Hey all, Magnum update. Got some stuff done on the car, just going to the next step. There's a bunch of parts coming in, so we're gonna have a lot more in the near future. But right now I'm trying to work on what I can to keep the project moving forward. I've washed the whole car, which did very little, but turns out it did have a layer of grime on it, so it's a little bit nicer. The paint's still not great. I got an airbox off of somebody who's customized their car. This will replace that horrible cold air intake. I'm not going to install this yet because I've got a MAF sensor and an air filter on the way, so I just want to do that all at once. But I did get the parts, so that's going to solve one of my big issues and probably going to clear some of those code problems I've been having. I had the entire interior detailed by a local guy. He did a pretty mediocre job, so I've been back in here to finish what he started. So I'm frustrated by that. The center console is a lost cause. That is staining on the console. So as soon as I get a chance to get to the junkyard, I'll be pulling out another console to replace that. But, I mean, the carpets are better, the seats are better. The layer of grime is gone off of a lot of things. It's just now not a horrible place to be. So that's good. The interior, aside from that center console and that little trim clip up there, is now done for the time being. There's nothing else in the interior that needs to be done except for dealing with those two items, which will both be a trip to the junkyard to take care of. So I've ordered brakes for the front and rear. I've ordered plugs. This car takes 16 plugs. 16 plugs! Like, that's ridiculous. I'm spending $30, over $30 on plugs. It's kind of insane. But I've also ordered the air filter and the MAF sensor for that thing I said. I ordered a new belt. I've ordered the lift for that in the back, the gate in the back. I made a wonderful discovery. I thought this motor was bad. It turns out that the plastic arm that went on here had cracked and split, and so it was just spinning on this little knurled bit. It wasn't making contact. So I was able to get a new wiper arm with a new wiper for 10 bucks. So that's going to fix that. That made me happy. Yeah, I'm sure I ordered some of the... Oh, I ordered a side mirror. Turns out it was cheaper to buy a brand new aftermarket mirror than it was to buy a junkyard mirror at the local pick and pull. So I just ordered that. It's a textured finish, but I'm pretty sure this will just pop off and I can just put this one on that mirror. But yeah, still trucking along with it. The parts delivery will make a big difference. I still got to get the wheels off, look at it, all the suspension, see if that's going to require anything. I got to look at the exhaust, see what that problem is. But I wanted to get those parts in so that I would have stuff to do, so it wouldn't be a case of when I finally get to work on it, I then order parts, and then I can't work on it for a while until those parts come in. This way, I'll have parts for jobs I know need to be done, and then once I know what I need for the other ones, I can place another order. Alright, so I'm trying to get these lug nuts off. These two came off fine. This one's a smaller size, I just have to find a socket for. But these two, they're like the other two that came off, but they've got a like cap on them to make them a pretty chrome one, which of course have been painted over and whatnot here. But this one is something spinning. I don't know if it's just the cap. I don't know if it's the whole lug nut. I don't know what's going on there. This one is sometimes spinning and sometimes just stripping itself apart. But I have no clue what a good next step is here. I think what I'm going to try to do, because when I look through the other one I can see the back of that cap, I think I'm going to try and either drill a hole or just drive a screwdriver through the end of it and see if I can lever it off that way. But this is just stupid. I did order new lug nuts because I saw that there were different styles on here and just decided I didn't want to deal with that. So fortunately I can destroy these as long as I can get them off. I can put the wheels back on once my order arrives. Alright, let's see what we've got. I literally haven't looked at anything. I pulled the wheel off and then grabbed the camera so I could film this. But the rotor is it's got a deep wear in it and a lot of rust, so I'm glad I've ordered one of those. There's plenty of pad, but I'm going to change them anyway. There's that interesting thing right there. Looks like a ABS sensor and brake hose new mounting solution with zip ties. Like, it's not actually a terrible solution. Wrap it in aluminum tape to protect it and zip tie it down. It's janky, but it's not like bad or dangerous. That bushing moves more than I'd like. That's fine. That one's not too bad. I mean, nothing seems too terrible. Yes, I know a lot of this can't just be shaken and deemed good or bad, but you know. Or rather, it can be deemed bad, but not deemed good by doing this. You can tell something's effed, but you can't be sure that something's fine. Yeah. The bushings aren't great, but none of them are terrible. Like this one, like all of them, they're a little perished, but they're not shot. Like these are all still holding their position and whatnot. So I may throw a front end in this at some point, but it doesn't need it like right this moment to not fall off the car. So yeah, brake lines look okay. The rubber line doesn't look amazing, but it also doesn't look like it's damaged anywhere. I'm going to presume by this that it got replaced when whatever happened that made them want to do that got done. So yeah, that's a pleasant, not surprise, but pleasant that it wasn't scary. Subframe's got, this is all just surface rust on here. It's ugly, but it's not structural. None of this is gonna cause any real problems. Let's grab that light, aka my cell phone, after I shake it, and see what we've got down here. Oh, hey! There's the jank we've been looking for this whole time. So, there is supposed to be a flex joint right here. And obviously there ain't. Somebody has incredibly badly booger welded in some pieces of pipe on both sides, and a U-bolt for like an exhaust clamp is just hanging out here for no good reason. Yeah, that's super janky, super nasty. That is almost 100% certainty the source of my exhaust leaks. It's got to be some part of this, because I guarantee you that this is not airtight. In fact, it looks like it's been welded in a couple different places a couple different times, possibly. So I could try and cut this back out and put a flex joint back in here and do a proper job of welding it, but given it's also got like emissions related codes, I think I'm just gonna bite the bullet. There's somebody on eBay who sells a pair of these catalytic converters, the left and the right, supposedly in stainless steel, for under $300 with shipping. So I think I'm just going to put 2 new cats in it, because I can get probably $50 to $100 back for these 2 cats. So that'll take the sting out of it a lot. But wow, look at the lack of rust under this car. Like, holy cow. I mean, yes, I can't see the rockers exactly because the quick jacks around them and there's these plastic shields, but like, that's pretty spotless for a car that's lived its life supposedly in Massachusetts and New Hampshire. So that's a pleasant surprise. That'll make things a little less horrible even just to work on. These are known for rusting here, and that got a little bit there, but nothing terrible. I may plate that. Once I get the cats off, I'm going to poke at that and on the other side, and if if I don't like it at all, I'm going to plate it with a nice thick piece of steel just to be sure. Apparently the heat of the cats can damage the paint, and then with the paint damaged, this can rust right here, and you can see there's a little bit of it here, but it doesn't look particularly dire. Like, there's no squishiness that I can feel right now, but I will check that. This is all gross, but for a New England car, it's not surprising. Like, I'm just happy that the floor pans look pretty good. All right, we are now at the back of the car, and it's a slightly different story back here. There's a little bit of rust in the floor here that it's not too bad. The fascinating thing is, check out this rear diff cover. This is an aluminum diff cover, and it is got all kinds of significant oxidation on it. Just, that looks like it's all galvanic from being up against the steel, and possibly some you know, there's probably some from the road and whatnot, but that's a lot of, it's all, since it's around the edge, I suspect a lot of it's galvanic corrosion to the diff. The rear end here, obviously I'm just doing this by eye, but like, axle boots are all intact. There's no grease splattering. Hang on a second. I'm gonna hold my phone behind the thing, and then I look like I've got a light on my camera. I did not bring my big pokey bar with me. That was a mistake, but none of this looks dire either. That's just a hanger, so that doesn't matter. Yeah, this has got a ton of surface corrosion on it, but other than that diff cover looking weird, I don't see anything worrisome. Like, yeah, some of you may freak the hell out, but I've grown up in New England. Like, this is normal to good. Like, none of this worries me in any meaningful way. If I end up keeping this car long term, which who the hell knows, I may at some point get another cross member, clean that one all up, paint it, rebuild it with all new parts, and then do a rear end cross member swap, just so that I know that's done. But that's, I'll have to like the car a lot more before I'll care about doing that. Yeah, we got the wheel off and got the pocket stuff, crawled underneath. The exhaust by the cat is leaking because of janky repairs instead of because blown out flex joints. Whatever. I knew it was going to be a problem. I just now know what the problem is. So I'm going to order the 2 cats for there. I'm also going to just put new oxygen sensors in it, I think, too, just to solve that whole area. Maybe I will, maybe I don't know. But yeah, so we found that. That's an issue. We knew it needed front brakes, so these are not an issue. Nothing in the front end looks dire, and I haven't heard any noises as of them right now. I mean, I've driven it a very limited amount, but I haven't heard any noises even though I was intentionally hitting potholes. So for the moment, the front end is going to be dubbed good enough. If the safety inspection for my registration finds issues, obviously I'll do that. And at some point I'll probably, if I end up with keeping this longer term, I'll probably put some parts in the front end to just clean things up there. The body is in really good shape for where the car's lived. I have seen way worse than this for sale for more money than I paid for this, so that's a nice thing. Like I said, I'm gonna pull these rocker covers off, but I've poked under there and kind of, you can pry them down a little bit, so I've reached in some places to try and reach. So if the rockers are rotted, it's localized, it's not the whole rocker. But I haven't actually found any rot. I'm just saying, if there is any, it's not. I know already that that section of the car is essentially solid, even if it may need some repairs. So that's good. We found no new surprises. We've added nothing new to the list of, oh god, I need to replace that. So that's nice. That rear diff cover I do not like at all, but it's not leaking, so whatever. If it starts leaking, then I'll concern myself with it. Or if I decide I actually care enough to change out the diff fluid, then I'll care about it. But that's where we are. Parts are winging their way to me as I get them. I will be putting them in, and you'll be getting more videos. So yeah, thank you all for coming along with me on my journey of my incredibly cheap Dodge Magnum V8. So far, it's been actually kind of fun. So yeah, talk to you all later. Bye.